Welcome to the Progressive Drumming Masterclass hosted by me, Jay Poststones. This masterclass presents a marriage of the best life lessons I've discovered as a professional drummer and the best drum lessons that I've created. I've compiled them here into meaningful collections for you to work through at your own pace. I'll guide you step by step through the routines that I personally use in my practice sessions, the tools that I use to compose, and the workflows I follow to expedite the learning process. After this, I'll teach you the most important patterns and rudiments that I've learned. I'll walk you through grooves ranging from straight 4/4 patterns all the way up to the most complex mathematical and odd time grooves that you can imagine. I'll present exercises that will develop you from whatever level you currently play at up to levels that you can currently only hear in other more experienced drummers, and I'll do all of this in an approachable, fun and musical way. You don't need to be able to read music notation to participate in the masterclass, but notation is provided for those of you who find it helpful. So let's jump in. How to work through the masterclass. We all learn at different speeds, and my first goal is to get you working as efficiently as possible. So I'd like you to forget about how long it might take you to work through the masterclass and instead do this one thing for me. If you're watching this on a PC, pause this video, close other browser windows that might be open, and silence your notifications. Put your phone into Do Not Disturb mode and let any dependents or your partner know that for the next 30 minutes, you're working on this. As a masterclass student, your first goal is to complete Module 1 within the first week of joining. And if you allow yourself 30 minutes per day for 5 days, this is totally achievable. The reason this is important is so that you feel good about achieving progress with the processes that I teach you in the shortest possible amount of time. While I'm not claiming to teach shortcuts in this program, I do aim to deliver huge efficiencies and breakthroughs for my students. And if you follow the advice in this lesson and module, those breakthroughs will happen much faster. At the beginning of the later modules, there will also be a video explaining the best way to work through those as well. How to practice the drums. This first lesson is the most important one in the masterclass. Without this, you may as well be working through any other drum lesson on the internet. The reason this one's the most important is because I'm going to share with you how to actually practice the drums. So make sure you've got a notepad ready to write down anything that's important for you, and let's get started. I think of my drum practice as a cycle. There are two main forms of practice, and each one informs the other one. There's organic practice and there's intentional practice. Organic practice is where I play along to music that I enjoy, and this could be something by my own band Tesseract or something by another band or artist that I like. The key here is that whatever I'm playing along to has to be music that affects me. It has to be something that I have a connection with and that I feel, okay? And we'll each know what that type of music is for ourselves. I found it helpful to develop a playlist of this stuff, so you're never left guessing what to choose, just put the playlist on random. In these sessions, I allow myself to go off-road. I don't always try to play exactly what the original drums are. I want to explore and let myself come up with new ideas in the moment, even if those ideas aren't fully formed. And almost all of the time, those ideas aren't fully formed. They're not even good yet. They're sketches of what they'll eventually become with intentional practice. And to capture these moments, I rely on technology that we all have access to. We live in the future, so you probably have a mobile phone with a camera, and this is all you need to get started. I also use a GoPro clamp with a phone attachment to make it easy to clamp to a shelf or to a cymbal stand. Position the camera over the most open side of your kit, and this is usually the hi-hat and snare side, and try to get the best angle where you can see most of the kit and how you're sitting. Now hit play on your playlist and record yourself for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes during these sessions are not mistakes. They're a window into the things that we could choose to work on next. When you're done, take a rest, make yourself a coffee or some other tasty beverage, and get your notepad out. I want you to watch your video back and pause it when you play something that you think has potential or when you make a mistake. And this could sound like a groove that you're playing that feels like something is missing. Maybe it's slightly out of time, or maybe there's a drum fill that didn't quite land. Whatever it is, write down the time in the video when this happens and write a quick note to explain what it is. Side note here, the weekly lessons that I publish are usually my third or fourth attempt at playing a new idea that I've born into existence from an organic jam. Assuming you've watched your video and you've made some notes, I want you to highlight the top 3 to 5 things that excite you the most to work on. Not the ones that you think will be most impressive or the top 3 that you should work on. Choose the ones that you're most excited to improve, because they're going to be the ones that you're most happy and excited to turn up and actually practice. Our next practice session will be intentional practice, and this is where we'll identify specifically what you need to work on in order to improve the things on your list. Sometimes this will be a specific pattern or a rudiment, sometimes this will be timing, sometimes it will be a technique that we need to develop, and by having these videos and timestamps, it's far more simple to diagnose and identify exactly what you need to isolate and work on. As a masterclass student, you can post links to these videos and timestamps in Discord, and myself and the other students can help you out by recommending the patterns and techniques to focus on. Differences of approach. Depending on what you're working on improving, there's an optimum way to do it, and I'll share my approach to a few of these now. Learning a new pattern. Let's say you've struck creative gold and you've identified a pattern in an organic session that you'd like to work on. First, I create a tool to make the learning process easy. I program the drum parts into my computer using Toontrack Superior Drummer 3 and Cubase. I'll talk more about these later on in the masterclass. Having this tool gives me the resolution to zoom into the idea, slow it down, and learn it a beat at a time if I need to. And having the parts of my kit separated on the screen also makes it super easy to read and follow along in real time. Something to note is the first minute or two of this process can be very difficult. It takes a couple of moments for our brains to recognize a pattern and for our limbs to catch up. But if there's something humans are exceedingly good at, it's pattern recognition. And as a drummer, you're probably even better at this than most. Learning a new rudiment. Let's say you'd like to learn a new rudiment or work on developing the most basic of rudiments, single strokes and double strokes. There's one solid way to do this. Set up a metronome at 5 BPM slower than your maximum clean tempo. I determine this by taking the tempo at which I can play the pattern for 20 to 30 seconds without it falling apart. Then drop it by 10 or 20 BPM and play the pattern for another 30 seconds. Rest for a few seconds, then speed up the metronome to 5 BPM faster than your current clean maximum speed and play it for 30 seconds or until it falls apart. And repeat this process for 10 minutes. Doing this daily with a new rudiment can have you make huge leaps forward in a short amount of time. Give it a try, do this for a week, record yourself on day one with a rudiment and then again in a week and in a month, and post a video in Discord of how it went. Another rudiment hack I learned a long time ago is to practice with a distraction, and for me, rudiment work is kind of the homework of drumming. It's not the most thrilling thing to do. I want to actually be playing on a drum kit. So the only way I could get myself to do it was to sit with a TV show on while practicing on a pad. I could practice rudiments for an hour or more by doing this. Plus, research has shown that there's no detriment to our memory retention when learning a new motor skill if we have some kind of distraction. So you may as well watch Game of Thrones at the same time. Practicing timing. The metronome is gold. I've worked with the metronome since I was 20, and it really is the only true way to know that you're playing in time. So take a pattern or rudiment and set up a metronome with a quarter note pulse and focus on landing your rudiment or pattern in time with that pulse. I find it beneficial to create a sense of inner timing when doing this as well. I'll rock my body or head back and forth. I'll keep a separate eighth note count on my left foot as well. This becomes the pedal hat count over time, and keeping an internal eighth note count really helps me to stay in time because it puts a subdivision between each quarter note. It removes some of that timing guesswork and doubles up the number of potential landing pads for my beats to land on. Practicing technique. This is the only area where I don't immediately have good news for you because there isn't a hack or shortcut to better technique. There is only your willingness to turn up and continue developing what works for your body type and playing style and adjust it accordingly. But trusting that in the long term, with good consistent practice, it pays off, because it does. It pays off in the same way as going to a gym. Eventually, after months and years of work, you can see and feel the results. There's not a single drummer that I've ever met who's unlocked a new technique overnight. It takes time for your body to make the physical changes that need to happen in order for a new technique to feel natural and that you can rely on it confidently when you're performing on stage. So that really should be the goal, and my advice to my students is to focus on accountability and consistency with your practice. Both of those things I'll help you with as well, rather than asking the internet and yourself, which technique should I choose, because they all work. French grip, German grip, American grip, traditional grip, ankle technique, swivel technique, heel toe technique, full leg technique, they all enable you to play the drums. And over time, you begin to discover which ones best suit your playing style. The time to consider switching to a new technique is when you want to play something and you can't seem to get there with your current techniques, or when playing the drums physically causes pain. That's when to look at the other options. Your routine. Something we all need to consider about our practice routine is where it fits into our daily or weekly routine. I'm fortunate, drumming is the thing that I do, so I'm able to make practicing a priority. For example, I schedule my sessions at 10 a.m. on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday because that's the time of day where I'm firing on all cylinders, I have the most energy, I find it easy to focus, and I can sometimes then get another short practice session in during the evening that same day. But I appreciate that this might not be possible for most people, so what I recommend is you look at the things in your life that prevent you from practicing regularly, or at least make drum practice more challenging, and remove or reduce those things. I am of course oversimplifying something that for some of you may be a huge challenge, but my goal here is to make your drum practice as easy as possible, like super easy to turn up for. If you have a load of hurdles in the way preventing you from even turning up, well, with the distractions that we've already got these days, drumming is going to take a hit. So these are some of the things that I've arranged in my life to prioritize drumming. Number one, I moved house so that I was literally closer to my band and rehearsal space. Number two, I built my own rehearsal space, and I've done that 6 times because I need to be able to drum either from home or very close to my home. Number three, I invested in a Roland TD50KV, which enables me to practice at home without needing to soundproof an entire space. Those electronic kits aren't cheap, but the cost of soundproofing and rent on a practice space is a lot more. Number four, I remove all distractions during my practice sessions. I put my phone into do not disturb mode, and the only screen that's open on my computer is the one that I'm learning from. Number five, I have cameras set up all the time so that I can record my organic practice sessions with the hit of a single button. Number six, I quit my day job. Now, some of these are extreme examples, but at the very least, you can look into keeping a practice pad and a kick pad set up somewhere in your house that's accessible. You can keep a cheap camera mounting position all the time, so all you got to do is put your phone in it to record your organic jams. You can make a practice schedule the same time on the same days each week so that it becomes routine. You can make sure that no one else is able to book your time when you're supposed to be practicing. You can know what you're working on before you sit down at the kit by either having your playlist ready or having your chosen idea ready for an intentional practice session. Those are all things that you can do right now. Now, this is just scratching the surface of what you'll learn in the masterclass. We haven't even got to the good stuff yet, but I promise that by working through this and by investing in yourself, you're going to reach greater heights than by going alone. So your first task is to complete this module this week, module 1, and complete the assignment at the end. Then I'll personally sit down with it and reply to you with my guidance and advice that's tailored to your personal goals. And we'll do the same at the end of each of the other modules as well. In module 2, we'll focus on the fundamental patterns that have transformed my drumming over the years and are therefore the ones I recommend the most highly. In module 3, we'll look at groove, how to develop this, how to feel this, particularly with an emphasis on odd timing. In module 4, we'll focus specifically on odd timing and the powerful concepts that you'll learn to command, such as polyrhythms, metric modulation, and displacement. And in module 5, we'll look at drum fills and how to develop flow in your playing. This is where you're able to move around the kit with ease and finesse. And don't forget to join my Discord community if you haven't already. As a masterclass student, you'll be able to chat with myself and other students in there, as well as pair up with an accountability partner, submit questions for the monthly live webinars, participate in student competitions for awesome prizes, and much, much more. Lastly, thank you. You've made the right choice, and I'm stoked to have you here. In the next lesson, we're going to set up your specific practice routine and optimize everything about it.